Jenny back with another journal page. This time, not whimsy. A page probably more suited, well, that I'm more comfortable with. Put a background down, add an image, add a title, call it done. Anyway, I'll get back to the whimsy houses later. But for now, I'm just working in my 8x5 creative Dylusions journal, and I'm just adding some stamping to the background before I add any paint. So I'm actually using purple today, which is not a colour I normally use. So I'm pushing myself a little bit, although this gets pushed into the background with the amount of layers that I add. But anyway, so I've used a couple of Kaisercraft stamps and Carabelle Studios. So now I'm using some Liquitex paint, so I'm going to just finger paint the background. I think I blend it better when I finger paint. I'm actually using a little finger protector just because the paint seems to get all in my fingernails and it's hard to remove it. So using some warm colours here. I don't know about the yellow and purple together because purple and yellow make brown, so I'm trying not to blend them too closely together. I say as I put the purple next to the yellow. It's not too bad. It gets covered up anyway. So I thought it needed toning down a bit, so adding some white. Now, what am I doing? Yep, taking some blue. Well, it's a sort of a soft blue purpley colour. Violet. Lilac. It's a light blue violet. So just um, applying it with a sponge over that was organic matter stencil by the Crafters Workshop. Now I'm coming in with a Carabelle Studio stencil around the world with some yellow. And here again going over the purple with the yellow. But it's dry, so it doesn't really go to mud. And now bringing in some cerulean blue with the mariposa stencil by the Crafters Workshop. Some butterflies. And looks like dragonfly there too. I haven't got the journal out in front of me, so I don't know how many layers you can actually see once the page is done. Trying to find it now. No, it's lost. Gone down the big deep hole somewhere. Oh, it's on my desk, hiding. Ah, now I thought I should add it, add some brightness to it, so adding some white again with a Kaisercraft. No, was it Kaisercraft? I don't think it was Kaisercraft doily. Can't remember. Anyway, mixing some white with some cerulean blue and some glazing medium, only because I was going to cover up the background because it was too busy to add anything on top. So in order to retain some of those layers underneath, that's why I used the glazing medium with the blue paint. And that's one way of not covering up everything that you've worked so hard to get. As I say, as I add more blue without the glazing medium, because that sort of took a lot of it away. But I can see the doilies, I can see the butterflies, well, some, not all, but I can see a lot of it. And the purple's coming through from the stamping, the yellow I can see. So that's a good way to retain your layering if you want a single colour underneath your top layer, I guess. Add some glazing medium to it. So this image, I just googled children, I think, and then chose drawing, maybe. Um, yeah, so, and then I saw that and I thought, well, that was cute. And so I printed it out, and now I'm just painting them, the clothes, with the same colours that I'd used in the background. And what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought there. Don't know, it's gone. Oh, yeah, that's right. So the quote, I then Googled children at play or something like that. And that's how I got the quote that I used on the page. Now, I don't end up using all that paint that I've got on that craft sheet to use to paint the clothes here on the kids. So what I did was, once I'd finished with those colours, I got another journal and just put them all on a page all together. So bit by, like, colour by colour, and just dry brush them on. And you'll see in an upcoming video what I do over the top of that page, because I'll leave that background as is. So think of that when you've got some paints out and it's left, and there's some left over, to just put it on another page in your journal and just add to it, either, stencil over it or whatever, stamp, do whatever you want to do. But I didn't. I just left the paint as is, and then sort of stamped an image onto it and doodled. Quick, easy page. So now I was just fixing up the black where I missed cutting it properly, and the white showed. So I'm just going over making sure I fix all that up. Now I start cutting out the shoes, well, separately, but then I decided, well, I can cut those out and just draw the, I won't, yeah, I did cut all the hands, most of them, but I end up drawing a couple. I mean, I could have drawn these kids, but I didn't colour their faces, and I'm not a good shader. So I think that's why I left them white, and it actually makes the page pop to have that white on it. So now you can see I'm going around drawing the arms and the hands on the ones that I'd cut off. And I glued those images down to the page with some Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. Yeah, she's got some freaky hair happening there. Okay, so now I've done the background, I've stuck the images down. Now I've got to do the title. And these were a set of stamps. I chose these only because of the size of them, because I wanted to paint them solidly, not have the pattern in the background, because anyway, that's what I did. And that didn't stamp down too well, so I just wiped it off and did the rest of the word again. And it's really hard stamping on journal pages where you have bulk on the other pages and it's very uneven. So that's why I knew I was going to paint the stamps, the alpha letters there. So I just painted it with some black acrylic. So now it needed a border, and I'm taking this Dylusions Hearts border, a couple of, well, that was a big brush pen, the white one, but the other one was probably the black POSCA. And colouring them in. No, it wasn't a POSCA, it was a PITT Artist brush pen. Yeah, the paint pens take a while to dry, and I'm a bit impatient. So what am I doing? Oh, I've just took a pencil um, to draw the shapes, and then I'll just go over them. That way the stencil's not retaining the paint from the pens and messing it all up again. So now I'm taking a POSCA pen, colouring in those white triangles, flags, whatever they are. Now, I didn't want to do the same at the bottom for the border as the top, because I wanted a bit of space there to finish the quote. So I'm using another part of that same stencil, continuing the black and white though. And you know, I never know how I'm going to do the title. I love to try and write it myself rather than using stamps or printing it out. But I just get lazy. And probably not a lot of confidence either when it comes to actually my own handwriting. So the whimsy pages that I've been doing have forced me, well, I wouldn't say forced, but it's given me an incentive to try and doodle a bit more on the other pages that I create. So instead of just having those banners in the colours that I chose, then I went around them with the contrasting colour, well, black, white. So normally, well, a while ago, I would have just left them as is. But it sort of helps, it adds that extra bit. Oh, sorry. I think the kids came in and interrupted me, and I hadn't pressed record when I drew that, and that was Amelia. When I drew those side bits, I thought it needed something on the sides, and I didn't want to do another border as such along the length of the sides, so I just did those little bits there, continuing with the black and white. And that's it except for the rest of the quote. So the quote ends up being, "Play is the work of childhood," by Mr. Rogers. So there we go. Another page done, and not a whimsy page. I enjoyed playing around with this one, so I might do a few more of those, although I've got a few different ones on the go, and you'll see those soon. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye.